In this video, I'm going to be having a chat with the team of Rufus Racing. Now, I've only just met these guys literally yesterday, but straight away they welcomed me into their team, they welcomed me into their camp, so much so this morning I was up on the roof of their van filming the shootout here at King of the Hammers 2020. So in this video, we're going to have a chat with the team, we're going to find out what their cars are, we're going to talk to the drivers, the navigators, and we're going to talk to Z, the team owner. Here at madmatt 4 Drive, I'm all about educating and building the four-wheel drive community so we can wheel well. Now, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you can get all of those notifications as well. All right, so come on, let's find Z. He's over here somewhere. There he is. He's the crazy fella in shorts, and it is freezing. Hey, Z.
Hey, what?
Mate, tell us a little bit about where did Rufus Racing start from? Like, and where's the name from? Like, is it the dog's name?
The Rufus thing, it's kind of a long story. It goes way back, but I have a Jeep,
right,
and its name is Rufus. Okay. And I've been rock crawling for about 20 years, somewhere in there.
Sure.
So that's where the name Rufus came from.
Okay. And so now you've, okay, so you started out rock crawling and that, but then what, did you end up going into this racing scene? I mean, we've got a big setup here. It's probably one of the bigger ones here at Hammertown.
Well, it started back in 2018.
Yeah.
We decided, a friend of mine said, hey man, we got to go to King of the Hammers. So we decided we're coming to King of the Hammers. I actually was sponsoring a car.
Sure.
So we come out here for the first time. We show up. We're starting to get our camp all, and then we've got these three Aussies that show up, and boom, they bust our camp out.
Oh, really?
It's like, yeah, it's like they just drive into Hammertown and they just, they just blow it out. And from that point on, and then in our camp, then we met up with the Wicks boys from Truckee, and there was a tight bond.
Right.
And that bond has become very tight over the years. And we were talking about all these things, and by the time we were leaving King of the Hammers, we're all like, you know what? So we go home, and it's like, and I think it was like August of that year, I ended up buying the first car.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
And so basically, like let's just say three mates had a chat, decided let's go racing. You bought a car. That was the birth of Rufus Racing.
Yeah, and for the most part, I mean, and then as far as the name, it's like, hey, I've got this Jeep, right, Rufus, and we go out, we wheel in Oklahoma, we go to Moab, we do whatever,
right,
and it's like everyone knows Rufus, and I'm like, well, hey, we're just going to become Rufus Racing.
just keep that going.
We'll just keep that going.
Yeah. Okay. So now today, I think you've got about 5 cars racing here in the 4400 class. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you've, from that humble beginning, how many years ago?
2018. So.
No way.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah.
2 years.
This is our second King of the Hammers.
1 year.
One year.
1 year.
2019.
We bought the car in 2018, raced it first time in February of 2019.
Yeah.
King of the Hammers last year.
2019 was our first race. Yeah.
Oh man, that's just ridiculous. Here I am thinking, you've been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years. And so I can't really ask you the question of how many King of the Hammers races you've won.
No, I mean,
you haven't had time.
This is my first one to race in. Chip raced last year, and that was his our official first race.
Right. Okay.
Last year, and he got 14.
Yeah. Well, you guys have really come a long way and really put a big effort together to make this happen. So it's very impressive for sure. So look, the way this video is going to work is we're just going to keep walking around the teams, and I've got a mate of mine, Matt, who is one of the commentators here at King of the Hammers 2020, and he's going to go and have a chat to a mate of his, Chip, who is one of the drivers. So let's go over and have a chat to Matt.
What's up, everybody? I'm Matthew Holt. I'm here with my buddy Chip. We've known each other for quite a while, and it's not around typically these kind of cars. It's a little different kind of car. It's around a rock bouncer. Chip does some of the recovery stuff at Texas, which is obviously where they're from. You can see the giant Texas flag on every single car they have, whether it be a big car or a side-by-side. I think they had some scooters outside that had the same logo on it as well. So obviously we know each other from a little different perspective, and that's kind of where I met Chip. Some of the cool vehicles here they have. They said this is a Chip car and this is a Chip car. So why does Chip have 2 cars?
Well, there's a saying, it's called hashtag Chip Happens. And so we brought 2 cars because we were unsure which one would actually make it to the start of the race.
And they said this is a new car?
This is a new car. We've had this car for about a month.
Okay.
I drove it for the first time a week ago. The car that's back behind here we call Donkey. I co-drove it in 2 years. Co-drove it for 2 years. We promoted that car all of last year. Was 3rd in the East Coast. Finished 14th in King of the Hammers last year.
So you not only did you finished 14th.
Correct.
That's impressive.
I want to say only 27 finishers last year out of
that's incredible.
over 100. I think 130 estimated. So this time last year, 12 months ago, we had 1 car.
Yeah.
We had a little bitty enclosed trailer.
And now you have a fleet of them. And they said this is an IFS car?
This is an IFS car.
What's some of the benefits of an IFS suspension for some of the guys out there who don't know straight axle IFS kind of benefits?
Well, I'd be glad to share because I've learned all of this in the past 7 days. Kind of back up a little bit. I raced that car all last year, broke my back 4.5 months ago. So I haven't been in a race car for 4.5 months, got in a week ago. First thing
So
was
you just got into a car a week ago?
week ago.
Wow.
First was the Razor, the one I broke my back in. We raced that on Sunday. Today's Tuesday. Then we got in this car. This car is wicked in the desert. It's fast. I mean, you can go through and have a soft drink in your hand, cruising across the desert 70, 80 miles an hour. The car back there, 70 miles an hour, you're screaming, like, just stop. That car over there will do amazing in the rocks. It's kind of like rock bouncing. You can put a wheel up. It's going to be controlled. You can just crawl it. This one, you come up to a ledge, line up, and you got to shoot it.
Okay.
Kind of like rock bouncing, but a little different.
Kind of similar to the rock bouncing wheel, which I'm pretty familiar with.
Yeah.
So the IFS is a lot better in the desert. You can definitely see the wheels bobble, obviously, go a lot faster. How does it feel? Is it pretty smooth with the IFS?
It's very smooth. You got a rack and pinion on the front of this car. The other one's full hydro. So at 80 miles an hour going across the desert, that car likes to hunt. Then you're constantly turning the steering wheel to the driver's side, just the way that the hydraulics work. This car, it's like you're driving down the freeway.
So that's some of the benefits of running the rack and pinion versus the full hydro.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So,
That's pretty awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the info.
Thanks, sir.
Obviously, we're going to throw it to one of the other guys, see if they can't get some cool updates.
Oh, g'day guys. So I'm chatting to Tim here. Now, he's a good bloke. He's my mate.
Yeah.
He's the navvy for, where's Pip? Hey, Pip.
He's over the back. Tell him to come in.
Yeah,
He likes talking.
so yeah, Pip's good at talking. Tim's good at talking too, but only to his missus. So these guys actually from Australia, and you know, I've interviewed them back in Australia a number of times at the Tough Truck Challenge. But you know, you guys are here with your new car for the first time. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah. We are, Matt, mate. We same as what Z was saying earlier. 2018, we came over to spectate this the KOH, and we just we basically fell in love with it. We created a bond with the guys over here at Rufus and Wicks Family Racing that, you know, made me get a unlimited international phone plan. So with that, it just inspired us to go on a new journey from our crawling in Tough Truck in Australia to go fast. We just wanted to give it a crack. So
I do need to add there though, it is actually the Wicks Family Racing's fault
yeah.
that he's into it this year already.
I know a little bit of the backstory on this, but tell us, Tim. Come on, what is it? It's pretty cool.
So so last year, or you want to go back further? But
Oh, let's keep it sharp,
right.
mate.
Last year, basically, Pip just happened to pack in his bag in the off chance that he might get a little bit of a.
Oh
sit
no,
in
let's
the
go.
car.
No, let's go to the bit where you guys first came to Hammers.
All right, we
Let's
rolled
start
in,
there.
we
That's
rolled
cool.
in the gate. We were here for Ben Dyer's 40th birthday. He's wanted to come here for years and years and years. So he got a 40th birthday. There was just him and I coming. Pip's birthday is actually the 22nd of January. So we surprised him. All his mates chipped in. We got him a ticket to KOH.
Yeah, right.
So 2 days later, he's on a plane. We come here.
Did you know you were coming to KOH?
No, my wife. We run a tiling business back at home, and my wife had told all the boys and organised it with everything that that I wasn't going to be there for 2 weeks. I didn't know, and at my birthday, I got a.
That was good.
It's a pretty cool thing actually that all the boys pitching in and my wife organising it. The dreams start with just coming to an event like this. That's where my dreams started, and then now 2 years later, I'm running in it.
So,
thanks to the help of everyone else.
So you turn up on the lake bed.
Yep.
Now this is interesting. You're driving the RV in.
So I'm driving the RV. Benny and Pip, couple of
Only 2 or 3.
only 2 or 3.
Sensible, responsible.
So we come up to a fence. It's only half built. We're like, where do we go? There's only half a town. We're like, surely, is this it? Pip just piles out the door, gone. I'm like, Benny, where's he gone? I don't know. So we look around. There's a little fire. It's only about this big, tiny little thing going. We'll just go to the fire. That's better, He'd be like a bloody
moth to the flame.
Yeah, moth to the flame. We get over there and he's already talking to the Wicks family.
Yeah, right.
Talking to Chris and Eric, the boys. So we're like, g'day, how are you? We get another beer. Next thing you know, we're leaving our RV right there in their spot. Next morning we get up, g'day, how are you? Have a look at their car, and then we're helping them.
And then you're helping them, and then you've come over here, you've brought your race suit, you've brought your helmet, in the off chance that you might find somebody in Hammertown.
Doesn't everyone do that?
Yeah.
I didn't. I will next year, right? Just letting you all know.
You never know. So yeah, that's what we did, and so we basically I did pack a race helmet and a race suit. Or even if it was just to go for a spin, because that's a dream for me too.
Right.
Just to go for a spin in a 4400 car or 4800 car. So so that eventuated the night before the 4800 class race from Eric Wicks. He said, "Hey, do you want to drive the rocks? Because we can do rocks in Australia."
Yeah, tough truck stuff. That's huge.
Yeah. So.
And Pip and Tim have won tough truck 3 times. 4 times. 4 times,
Yeah.
and that's one of our premier events. So that's a big ticket. So okay. So they called you out, get out there in the rocks, and how did that work out?
That we actually only got to from where Eric handed the car over to us. I think we did about 30 miles in the rock trails. So still with Chris sitting in the passenger seat, his brother. So and then we ended up actually getting a crack in the transmission. So we leaked our transmission.
Yeah, right. Yeah, blimmin' heavy-footed, blimmin' rock hopping mongrel, eh? Yeah, what?
Just to let you know how we got Zandy as well. 2 days after we arrive, this big bus pulls in.
Yeah.
This fella gets out. Can we just move that RV over a little bit? Zandy.
Yeah.
So and then from there, he's exactly the way he talks there.
What, in shorts?
Exactly. And you've spoken to him briefly, and you can see his mannerisms and that. And so we that was it. And then the 3 of us we were done. But
Pip introduced me to him yesterday, and straight away, Z, I just felt like I was part of the team. You're like, I felt sort of a bit taken back as you were drawing me in. It was quite amazing. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
Sorry, yeah. So from then, Zandy just welcomed everybody into his whole. He brought someone along, and he had a few beers with him and that, and then so we all sort of joined there. But what I want to do is get to when Pip had the drive. This is why it's the Wicks' fault. If you look at Chris there, he'll be able to tell you in that 30 miles in the rocks, you went from whatever place you were.
Can't tell Eric.
We won't tell Eric. They gained like 16 spots. And if you ask Chris, ask him how that 30 mile went.
Fast.
He'll let you know how they pass these cars, and then these cars pass them. And
I'll tell you what, I reckon that's a great opportunity. Let's go back to Matt. How about you go and have a chat to Chris and find out about that little adventure? Sorry to interrupt the video, but you see, First Class RV Rentals have made this video possible by helping me get here to the United States, to King of the Hammers. Well, I tell you what, if you're looking to come from any of the countries of the world to King of the Hammers here in California, United States, well, these are the guys that are going to hook you up up with a great caravan, or RV as they like to call them, and basically Andy Blass and his team are going to make you feel like you're at home here in Hammertown. They've totally looked after me the last 2 years I've been here to King of the Hammers. They set up a compound here with caravans, RVs, motorhomes. They're all just set up here. We've got rock bouncers as part of the crew. You've got Ultra 4 cars, and just a great team of guys and girls who have come from all over the United States and all over the world, who are all camping together, making new friends and just having a fantastic time. You know what? Andy even gets in this van here, and oftentimes he'll cook us up breakfast and dinner. It's just a really great family environment. But he's got RVs right across Hammertown, people who are renting them and just enjoying the whole King of the Hammers experience. So if you're looking to come to King of the Hammers or anywhere on the west coast of the United States, well, these are the guys to get in touch with, I reckon. They've certainly looked after me and many of my mates.
I would love to. We keep hearing about this rock section where we were supposedly going fast. What happened in that rock section?
Pip was driving hard. You know,
So it's Pip's fault, right?
No, he was racing. We were passing people. We were driving over people. We were on the horn, and we were having some issues. We'd get through the rocks, and we'd have to pull over and, you know, let stuff cool down.
Yep.
Then the guys we just passed would come by us with their fingers out the window at us because of the way Pip was driving. It was the same car, and then we'd catch right back up to him in the next canyon, and it was a lot of fun. You know, it was interesting. And then
what was your cooling issues that you had?
we were vapor locking.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a fuel issue. So we'd get out, we'd throw water on it, we'd try to get it cool, and we'd get going again. We'd catch right back up to them in the rocks. We'd pass people in the rocks, and finally, like you said, our transmission cracked open.
So you played leapfrog for a while, kind of passing them, then passing you passing them, and ultimately the transmission cracked and kind of ended your day.
Well, we never stopped. We pulled you know, I'm sitting there going like, I think we're done, Pip. There's transmission fluid all down the trail. And he's like, no, we're not done. So we pulled everything apart. We pulled skid plates off. We pulled the interior panels off. Found the crack. He could reach down and feel it. We patched it with what? Like some epoxy, plastic epoxy.
Little JB weld.
Yeah. We wrapped rags around it, zip ties around it. We called the pit. They were already coming back to main camp. We said, nope, you guys hang out. We're going to be at pit 2.
That's awesome.
We're going to be there.
That King of Hammers mentality is what helps so many teams finish out here. And you hear stories of guys, you know, changing a transmission or changing a front axle or doing something super crazy and to, you know, drain fuel out of one vehicle to the next just to get to that next stage where they get it fixed and band-aided up. So
I got a couple quarts of fluid in my lap. I got the funnel in the dipstick for the transmission, and we're gonna go. We're gonna make it. You know, we told the pit we're gonna be there. So they turned around and went back. They were already packed up and leaving, right? So they turned around and went back, waiting for us, and unfortunately, I think we only made it 100 feet.
Only 100 feet.
Yeah, and then boom again.
But it was a triumphant 100 feet. That was a very proud 100 feet.
We would not give up.
No, and then we left it there. We hiked 2 miles or so to a checkpoint, and they had a fire there, and we hung out there till Eric and his wife came and picked us up in their Jeep.
Yeah, you do get a quality time as you're walking through King of Hammers as well.
Yeah.
Whether it be on a trail or in Hammertown or when you're racing, you know, that's pretty common. You know, the attrition rate here is, you know, like 80% or something like that. There's so many cars that don't even come close to finishing just because of the grueling course. So a lot of guys end up walking short, sometimes even long distances. But
no, it was cold. It was a cold walk, but we found a fire out on the checkpoint and hung out there till, you know, pretty late.
Try to get warmed up and wait for some guys to show up and help you out a little bit.
Yep.
And now you're back this year? And what's our forecast for this year?
We're going to finish 5 cars.
5 cars.
Yep. Since then, Zandy bought a car, then Eric bought a car, then I bought a car, then Zandy bought a car, then Zandy bought another car, then Zandy bought Razor, then Chip bought a Razor, then Zandy bought a Razor.
I'm seeing a trend here.
Yeah.
Pip was in there somewhere.
Pip
was in there somewhere. We did, yeah.
It's qualified the best out of all of us.
Yeah.
So we had to bring him to California to make him go fast again.
And what totally blows my mind is I keep hearing, and buy a car. This has all been in like the last like 12, 16 months.
Yeah,
this isn't like an 8-year program, you guys.
No.
Like every 24 months you buy another car, add on, and just looking at the overall race team, it's super impressive to see how great a setup here, how well your team works together, you know, how everything flows. And again, this is like a 12-month team.
Yep. Eric had his 4800 car, which was just a rock crawler, and me and him in his garage, we converted it to race, and that's where we started. And we came out here and met Zandy, and then we met the 3 Australians, and for a week, every night, Pip, Benny, and Timmy, we were out working on that car every night till probably midnight, trying to, you know, fine tune everything. It was never good enough for them. We were like, it's fine. They're like, nope, let's fix this. And every night we were out working on that thing. And I think we made it, Eric and I drove that year, we made it probably 120 miles.
120 miles?
Yeah.
That's
And then-
still that's got to be close to a finish.
And then the next year we brought it out again. And then Zandy had Chip racing. And we had Eric's 4800 car, and Eric also had a 4400 car at that
Okay.
time. And that's when we let Pip drive. That was 2019.
Last year.
Yeah, that was just
Yeah.
last year.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yep.
Obviously, I think he's been bit by the bug. That's safe to say. So, I guess we'll throw it back over and see what else we got over here.
Hey, yeah, Matt, I've found, I think his name's Diamond,
Yeah.
is that right? And apparently you spin spanners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We call them wrenches, but
Yeah, no more.
no.
No, it's time to be educated,
Okay.
remember? That's what I'm all about, education.
And shifters like change gears for us too.
I ain't going to argue with you about that. Yeah, that's fair call.
All right.
Yeah. So crescent wrench and spanners. We'll go with that. So apparently you're part of this team because you've got a lot of experience at making everything Z-proof.
Yes. So I kind of helped Zandy learn to rock crawl, and we were around whenever Rufus became Rufus.
So you were there the whole time.
Well,
making
originally
this
he
thing
wanted to
work.
be Little Devil, and then we decided on Rufus later on, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of a family name. He came up with it on his own, but I actually had a great granddad that was Rufus,
Okay.
so it's kind of always fun.
Yeah.
I've been around in the Jeep that is the namesake, which it's, you know, 1980s carbureted Jeep on
Yeah,
leaf
right.
springs, and we follow everybody with that thing, and you just
Yeah.
can't kill it.
Yeah. Was
But,
that the one that you were following me? That was following us around today?
No, we
different
didn't.
vehicle.
We didn't.
Okay.
bring it.
So you're a full-time mechanic for Rufus Racing, is that
I
correct?
am now. Yes.
Yeah. And so what does that role entail? I mean, race prep to my mind is like rebuild a car every
Pretty much.
couple of months.
Pretty much, you got to take them all apart, look at every little thing, try and find all the cracks, try and find all the weak points.
Yeah.
Stare at stuff endlessly, trying to find out what the next potential weak point or failure is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, wiring, lines, plumbing, it all chafing. You know, it all
Yeah,
happens.
all those little things, and I guess it's experience of knowing what fails
Yeah.
to know what to look for.
And then you got to work on, you know, semi trailers and 4-wheelers.
Yeah, right. Okay, you're a busy
the-
boy.
The wife's Jeep or whatever, you know.
The other favours. Now I do have a bit of a bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh.
Well, I think I've found that there's actually a bit of a flaw in this Rufus Racing. Like on the surface, it seems like a very cohesive team, but I think that there's very much an American-Australian divide being developed, and I think you're the cause of it. And I'm just going to call you straight up on this, because our car was supposedly race prepped, yet the yoke on the rear diff pinion was loose.
Well, you can go back to Pip on that one because I asked him about it and he said, "Oh no, we'll take them apart on the lake bed." Well, guess what? He got to take it apart on the lake bed.
Is that right?
My job was to put a transmission in the car, and so far the transmission is holding up beautifully.
Right. So what about the 300M stub that broke? And there was file marks in that.
That's
man.
gonna be Daryl Gray on that one. Sabotaging.
Anyway, so yeah, no, look, when I found out that you're the mechanic for 5 race cars, and okay, it's a full-time job, but I'm a navvy for an Ultra 4 race car back in Australia, and we're just really, just for giggles and having fun. We like to think of ourselves as a professional team, and I think a better term would be we're a passionate team. And you know, the amount of work we have to put in just to keep the car reliable is phenomenal, and you know, we're doing full-time jobs and all the rest of it. So what you're doing with these cars is, I mean, it's probably a dream job in a lot of ways, but geez, it's a lot of work.
It's always a dream job until you got it.
That's the line of the night.
But it's good. It's good, you know.
Anybody want a job as a mechanic for Rufus Racing? He's resigning shortly. Hey, so, Z, did you just take note of that? I've got video recording of who did that.
You got to co-drive this week.
I did.
Okay.
We got to ride, and it was actually my first time to actually go out in this kind of race.
Very cool.
Which was fun.
Yep.
Did the UTV challenge with Chip.
Okay.
And managed to keep Princess all nice and in one piece so that he could drive this.
Very good.
Yeah, we had a really good time. We had all sorts of stuff break, but we were back in the car and going fast and hard, and we actually made 22nd. So I'm proud of it.
Well, very good. I mean, just to finish is cool.
Just to finish is cool, especially since it's our first time in UTVs. It's my first time in a UTV race, you know.
You as a team must be on this phenomenally steep learning curve.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, obviously there's wheeling heritage, but I think stepping into racing, from what I observe,
we're definitely all rock crawlers.
Yeah.
And the go fast thing is the new stuff for us, but you know, it's different. You know,
Yeah.
engines are on the other end of the car in every one of these, except his.
Right. Yeah.
And it's a huge steep learning curve, but we
Yeah.
handle it quite well.
Okay.
Got to do a lot of fabrication, changing. You know, there's things we don't like, and it's good.
Yeah. Very cool. So. Have we touched on all the teams? I think we've missed out. Matt, you want to go and have a chat to Eric and see what he's.
So how are you doing, Eric? Which team are you part of?
I'm part of the Wicks Family Racing Team.
Wicks Family Racing Team. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So when I get around these guys, sometimes when we're away from each other, and months could go by, and as soon as we see each other, it could be like not a day has passed with every single one of these guys. And Pip talking about how he has to get an international calling plan. We all got international calling plans because we're talking to Pip once a week. So we get together, we have fun, and Grom happens.
Grom happens. So explain the Grom.
Oh man, so we had some car problems. We were trying to get down to San Felipe. We had planned on leaving at about. We had planned to leave early.
San Felipe, you talking about like desert
Mexico.
racing? Okay.
Mexico,
Yep.
and we had about a 14-hour drive.
Okay.
And we ended up not leaving. We ended up leaving about 6-7 hours late. So the Wicks Family Racing Team, which is me and my brother, and our co-drivers, we left 14 hours straight, got down to San Felipe, and when we saw these guys, there was no time for rest. There was time for Mexico, shots of tequila, Tecate, and there was a Grom on the beach, and got a little crazy with the Grom.
Yeah?
How old was that Grom?
That Grom was less than an hour old.
Oh, okay. Solid.
How old was it when you got done? How many times did you go over the handlebars?
Twice.
Twice. Wow.
At least twice. Ouch. At least twice.
So mistakes were made, right? Mistakes were made, okay?
Well, they're always fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I always have a good time hanging out with these guys.
And I feel like that's kind of one of the awesome part about doing off-road racing. You know, it's obviously fun to go out and go fast, but at the same time, like sitting around the campfire, as some of the Aussies would say, sitting around the campfire having a good time. You know, just enjoying it. It's kind of what it's all about.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And
well, Matt, you know, I reckon this has been a fantastic conversation we've had here, don't you reckon?
I agree.
I mean, isn't this a bit of an inspiration to see a bunch of people who've been drawn together through the strangest of life circumstances? You know, Pip jumping out of an RV, there's a fire, I'm an Aussie, woohoo!
Yeah.
And found free beer and found a free race team. I mean,
and it's also kind of an infomercial for anybody who wants to get into racing. Like, just come out, have fun. You never know where you're going to end up.
That's a good point. And I mean, if you haven't been to King of the Hammers, well, just get a ticket. 2021, it's going to be on, and it's awesome. You got an extra car?
We actually have a car maybe for sale.
We need another mate. From Australia, China. We don't judge.
I'm another mate, and I'll drive a car, but I got no money. I don't think that's going to cut it, is it?
You have another mate?
Got Matt, got Milo. Ooh, okay. Look, guys, this has been an absolute cracking video. Make sure that you go over to the Rufus Racing page, like the page, go over to Justice Motorsport page, like that Facebook page as well. Go over to Matthew Holt.
Matthew Holt, M Holt 13 on Instagram. Check us out. You can follow all the good stuff we do all across the nation and maybe internationally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to throw this out there on this video. See, I think it's time that Rufus Racing comes down to Australia.
Ooh.
Yeah, this crew comes down to Australia and comes to our cliffhanger event, held 2021 April, and it's basically one wild event. Pip's never been there, and that's got to change. And Tim, you too, and because I did that last year. It's only held every 2 years, and it's one crazy event. So the invite's out there. All right, cool. I love it. So Rufus Racing, cliffhanger, that's going to be absolutely awesome. And I've already put the hard word on Matt, and he's pretty keen as well. So anyway, guys, that's it from me. Now, this is going to be interesting because he doesn't know what I do next, but let's see if he can pick up on it. I'm Mad Matt. Stay safe on the trails.